knowledge that is knowledge. Psalm 111 says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and that those who practice it have a good understanding. Now, the fear of the Lord also features in our text from Deuteronomy 18:15 through 20 this week, in which Moses is addressing the people of Israel, and he refers back to the giving of the law at Mount Horeb, which we can read about in Exodus 20. And Moses reminds the people of what they said at that time. They were fearful and they stood at a distance when they saw the mountain on fire, and they heard the voice of the Lord. And they said to Moses, "You speak to us and we will listen, but don't let God speak to us or we will die." And Moses said to them, "Do not be afraid, for God has only put the fear of him upon you so that you do not sin." In other words, so that you do not exalt yourselves above God to the destruction of each other. And so in our Deuteronomy 18 text also, God speaks about this event and says through Moses to the people, "It is good what you said, and I will raise up a prophet like Moses from among your own people, and to that prophet you will listen and you will obey his words." And so God set up a mediator in the person of the prophet to mediate the fear and the knowledge of God to the people. Now, in 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verses 1 through 13, our epistle reading for this week, Paul speaks to the Corinthians about the knowledge of God. And there were some in the Corinthian community that were boasting about their knowledge, about their wisdom, and about the freedom that they had, about their authority. And Paul told them, however, that knowledge puffs up, or knowledge inflates one's ego, but love builds up. And so Paul says, be careful that you do not use your liberty. The NRSV says, be careful that you do not use your liberty, but literally, be careful that you do not use your authority as a cause for the stumbling of your brother or sister. Do not use the authority that comes with your knowledge and the power that gives you for the destruction of your brother or sister whom Christ loved even unto death. But instead, use your authority to build up your brother or your sister. Now, this concept of authority also features prominently in our gospel reading for this week, Mark 1:21 through 28, in which Jesus, early in his ministry, enters the synagogue in Capernaum, and he begins to teach. And the people are amazed at his teaching because he teaches them as one having authority and not as their scribes, their other teachers of the law. And so much was the knowledge of God infused with Jesus's teaching, with his authority, that it even provoked an unclean spirit in a man in the synagogue to cry out, to confront Jesus. The fear of God, the authority of God in Jesus, something about the presence of it being there in fullness aroused this unclean spirit. And Jesus commanded the unclean spirit and cast it out of the man, delivering that human being whom God loved from evil. And in response to Jesus's act of deliverance, Jesus using his authority as love on behalf of a human being, the people were again amazed, and they said, "What is this? A new teaching with authority. He commands even the unclean spirits, and they listen to him, and they obey him." So Jesus here is the one who used his authority for the purposes of love. He used the authority that was in him for the deliverance of others. Jesus practiced the knowledge of God, exercising it as love. And this is the authority that is really authority. This is the knowledge that truly is knowledge. And the effect of the fear of God exercised as love is that the knowledge of God spreads throughout the whole world as the waters cover the sea. Even as, just as Jesus was exercising authoritative love in the synagogue, so immediately the report about God's authoritative love spilled outside of the synagogue into the surrounding region of Galilee, into the whole neighborhood, into the whole world, the world that will be filled with the knowledge that truly is knowledge. Amen.